Welcome to the Dr. April Jasper Show, relevant conversations for business owners of today.
Your eyes and your vision are under attack. Damaging blue light from the sun, your phone, your computer, your tablet, even light bulbs and car headlights is constantly bombarding you. The good news is our eyes actually already have a line of defense to counter the effects of blue light. This defense is made up of 3 pigments called carotenoids. MacuHealth with Micromicelle, the only supplement with the exclusive patent on all 3 macular carotenoids and Micromicelle technology.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. April Jasper Show. I am here with Dr. Leo Skorin, and I'll let you pronounce your first name better than I can. Pronounce it for me, Doc.
It's Leonid. It's Ukrainian.
And you have a very interesting story because you are an optometrist and also an ophthalmologist. That's
yes,
just part.
That's true.
Part of your interesting story.
Yes.
So, Leo, talk to us a little bit about the beginning. So you can start wherever you want, but talk about your life here. You just told me that you are the first in your family to be born in the United States.
That is correct also, yes. I basically, like I said, I was born in Chicago. In a part of Chicago known as Ukrainian Village, and I didn't even speak English till I think I went to grammar school. My parents said, "You'll pick up English on the street, no problem." I remember watching Three Stooges commercials or shows as a kid, and they'd run around poking each other in the eye. I said, "Oh, there must be some money in that." All these people are walking around poking themselves in the eye. These Americans are doing all this stuff. So so maybe I'll be an eye doctor. No, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. But the truth is that we spoke Ukrainian at home. We lived in an area called Ukrainian Village. Everybody spoke Ukrainian there. And I went to grammar school, and basically I did pick up English off the street, watching television, things like that. Back then, there were black and white televisions. You have to walk up and change the channel, things like that.
We get annoyed now when we're on the airplane and we have to touch the screen, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, I don't get annoyed by that, but yes, but I get annoyed by other things. But the other thing is. I became a doctor because I was telling you earlier is because my mother told me to become a doctor.
I love it.
My parents escaped from the Russian communists and the Nazis, a combination of both. And my mother, I have one brother, and I remember my brother and I are still debating if we got it correctly. If we did it, my mother said, "You're going to be a doctor and you're going to be a lawyer." And so we did what our mother told us.
And maybe you got it reversed. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Maybe we still debate whether we got it right. He became a banking attorney and worked for the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. So so he's really the achiever. I'm the underachiever in the family. I suppose.
You've only written 7 books. I mean, that's terrible.
Well, my 7th book will be out in March of 2026. Yes.
And your first book was?
My first book, I was very blessed in that one of my classmates in optometry school at Illinois College of Optometry was Bruce Onifray, who's optometrist, but he was first a pharmacist, and he sort of came out at the time when diagnostics and therapeutics were being promoted and bills were being passed in optometry school, so he was lecturing on all of that. And he came up with a book called Ocular Therapeutics Handbook, a Clinical Manual, and asked me to be one of the co-authors, co-editors on that book. Plus Nicky Holdeman, he was at the University of Houston at that time. I think he's retired now. And so that book actually had 4 editions, believe it or not.
I had that book. I still have that book.
Oh, great. That's wonderful. And then one of my optometry students who rotated with me, Nate Lighthizer, who's now the famous guru guy running around with the procedures, and he's a dean at the school in Tahlequah. He was one of my students, and he came up with the idea at this meeting, actually, here at Island Eyes a number of years ago. He came to me and he said he had an idea of coming up with a book on a procedure, on lasers.
Wow.
And he wanted to self-publish it, and I go, no, let's put it together and make it official. Let's get ophthalmologists in the book, MD and DO. I'm a DO ophthalmologist, and optometrists, and we put it together, and that's how we came up with our laser book.
Wow.
Which was the first one that came out. Then I thought of the idea of doing a procedures book, which was also published and is still being used now.
That's right.
And my most obscure book, and it's sort of a book of passion for me because my fellowship in beyond ophthalmology was neuro-ophthalmology, was Charles Bonnet Syndrome and other visual hallucinations. And it took me over a year to find a publisher.
Wow.
To want to publish it because they thought we'd sell maybe 2 copies.
And that's coming out soon.
That's coming up, but coming out in March.
Okay.
I just finished looking at all the proofs and everything. It looks really good. And the way I sold it is that the idea to the publisher was there are no clinical books on visual hallucinations. Most of them are geared towards psychology or neuroscientists.
Right.
And so I tried to make it clinically oriented to the practitioners, ophthalmologists, optometrists, neurologists, neuro-ophthalmologists, psychologists. And we wrote it sort of, you're probably familiar with Oliver Sacks.
Yep.
And he wrote a lot of his neurology books, not only for neurology people, but he wrote it also for the general public. And so we tried to write it, as I say, a la Oliver Sacks.
Wow.
So that caregivers of those individuals who have Charles Bonnet Syndrome can also read and understand what's in the book, and yet it's a scientific book for clinicians.
Wow. That's incredible. So we should probably tell the audience, because our audience is optometry, ophthalmology, our team members, but also patients. What is Charles Bonnet Syndrome?
Charles Bonnet Syndrome is a visual hallucination, basically, that occurs in individuals who have some level of vision loss. The official cutoff is 20/40 or worse in their best seeing eye. It has nothing to do with the patient being having any type of psychosis or schizophrenia or anything like that. So it's really related to an underlying vision loss. It's sort of like a release phenomena. As I explain it to the patients, and they all seem to understand that aspect, like, someone who has lost a leg but still feels that his foot is itchy and wants to scratch it. It's sort of like a substitution, basically, for a missing part of what you've had in the past. In this case, it's the vision. And it's interesting, Charles Bonnet Syndrome has been around at least since the 1700s, when Charles Bonnet first wrote about it. And yet today it's still a misdiagnosed, underdiagnosed, sort of basically not known clinical entity, even in not so much in optometry, but in general medicine and somewhat in optometry, somewhere in ophthalmology, because a lot of individuals, clinicians, don't ask about it, and patients themselves are afraid to question or bring it up because they think they're getting early Alzheimer's, or they'll lose their their independence because somebody will put them away in a home or something like that. So you really have to parse it and pull it out of them to be able to make the diagnosis. And then once you explain to them they're not crazy like they think they are, they're not crazy. They are just so relieved, and their caregivers, a lot of times I'll have their kids bringing in these, usually it's older people, but it doesn't have to. It's been recorded in children too. basically, once I explain it to them and give them one of the articles that I've written on the topic, that makes me more solid,
Right,
I guess,
right.
with them. They are so relieved and they're so happy. It's just amazing. And as optometrists and for ophthalmologists, if we can work to improve their vision beyond that particular patient's threshold, whatever that threshold may be, to give them an extra little bit of acuity, that may actually make their visual hallucinations go away. The other thing about the visual hallucinations is they're not threatening to the patient. So nobody's like trying to stab them or shoot them or something. They're usually not threatening. A lot of times they're actually pleasant. I've had patients who like their hallucinations because they're seeing colorful images of young children or friendly people, things like that. So the final aspect of it is these patients have insight into that they know that those images are not real.
Right.
So that's another key element to the diagnosis of Charles Bonnet Syndrome.
That's incredible. So the book will help us to understand that. It's written in a way that caregivers can and should read it so that they can better understand the patients that they're taking care of as well. I love that you did that. That's a great way to put something together. So
it's just easier for me to understand to write it that way.
Right. That's true. So let's go back to your career. So you became an optometrist first?
Correct.
And then did you practice optometry and then you went back to school to become an ophthalmologist?
When I started optometry school back in the late 1970s, you have to understand at that time optometrists in most states and couldn't dilate or even use topical anesthetic.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you something embarrassing. Geometric optics scare the crap out of me. And I sat there and I did okay in it, but oh my God, I was thinking, am I going to be sitting in an office doing geometric optics formulas for every one of my patients to come up with prescriptions? I can't handle that.
Exactly.
And I love the medical aspect of it, and I was so lucky. Our professor who taught ocular pathology was an ODDO,
Oh, just like you.
I became optometrist, DO ophthalmologist, and he actually approached me. It's funny, I just got an email from him today.
Oh my gosh.
We keep in touch, and
Wow.
he had written a jurisprudence book for ophthalmologists before, and he wanted. Anyway, he is doing wonderful. He's doing great. And so he approached me, and I was one of those nerdy kids. In geometric optics, I sat in the back of the room hiding, cowering in fear. But in the pathology, I sat in front, always asking questions, and he would put slides up, and I would guess, sometimes wrong, sometimes right. But he approached me and said, "You should go into ophthalmology." You should, and he said you should go into osteopathic. Go to the DO school, because he was a DO.
Yeah.
And I said, "What's that?" I'd never heard
Wow.
of it. Even though there was one in Chicago College of Osteopathic Medicine, which is where I eventually went.
Wow.
And so he mentored me through the completion of medical school. I was not going to drop out of optometry school.
Right.
I really wanted to get my degree.
Yep.
What if I got into medical school and I couldn't make it through medical school? Or
Sure.
what if I got into medical school and I got ill and I couldn't finish? Or what if I got in, I didn't like it?
Right.
So at
love
least
that.
I was smart enough to finish optometry. And actually, I found out I was accepted into osteopathic medical school, Chicago. I went to Chicago Osteopathic 4 days before I graduated optometry school.
Wow.
So it was strange, but I got my letter of acceptance, and then 4 days later, I walked and got my optometry diploma and got my license. And I did practice optometry. I practiced optometry all the way through medical school.
Wow.
there was many optical places.
Sure.
Can I mention a name?
Yes, of course.
Well, like one of them was Lens Crafters that
Yeah.
I worked at. That was big. And they were open on Saturday and half a day on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I worked every Saturday and Sunday and went to medical school the other 5 days.
Oh my gosh.
But I actually found medical school easier than I did optometry school.
Wow.
There was no geometric optics in medical school. What a blessing that was.
Yeah.
Plus, by the time I got to medical school, courses like systemic physiology that I was taking, I already had that in undergrad, in college, and then I had it in optometry school, and I had it now in medical school. And it was the same book by Guyton. I don't know if that book is still being used, but it was the same book, just different editions. It was like by the time
you took the class 3 times.
Yeah, I took the class 3 times, but so by the 3rd time, I already figured it out.
Oh my gosh. That is incredible. And so that means you were in school for what, 12 years? Wait, 1, 2, 3, like a lot of years.
Yes, and then, after, I was sort of very ignorant about it. I thought, oh my God, I got into medical school, I won the race.
Right.
But really what it meant is you have the option now, you have the ability now to get at the starting line. The residency is the key.
Yeah.
And it did not mean that just because I had an optometry background that I would automatically get an ophthalmology residency. It was super competitive.
Wow.
It was like crazy competitive. But I think I know optometry made me a much, much better ophthalmologist. And even though I was afraid of geometric optics, I actually found that ophthalmic optics the courses were very beneficial to me, not only in optometry, but in ophthalmology when it came to refractive surgery, IOL calculations, all kinds of things like that. And I understood the optics aspect of it, of refractions and all. And so it made me, although after a while you stop doing refractions, you get technicians to do them for you in ophthalmology. But
you were the best of the best. You still are.
But I could, maybe. I recently meritoriously retired from the Mayo Clinic health system in Minnesota. So
congratulations.
It's a different aspect. I'm still teaching, like I said, writing and things like that. And but I still wake up at 5 a.m. I can't, to be ready to start surgery at 7 a.m. at the hospital, even though I'm not going there anymore. It's sort of weird, but I still wake up super early.
So many years of that, right?
Yeah, it's just I just wake up at 5 a.m. I don't even need an alarm clock.
A couple of lessons I have from what you just said, well, many, but one of them is teachers, you have a tremendous impact on your students.
I had a reputation with the students of, first of all, any student that rotated with me, they had to at least write one publishable paper.
Wow.
Or I would fail them.
Oh my goodness.
And they, and I have one of the students at the conference today that was one of my students. She's at this meeting also. She wrote 8.
Oh,
and I've had a number that wrote, and she wanted to get an optometry residency afterwards, which she did, of course.
Yeah.
Because I would write them very nice letters of recommendation.
Sure.
And I'm sure all of them done well. Like I said, Nate Lighthizer was one of my students, and we used to play ping pong all the time. And we would cheat. And he keeps on telling me that I cheated, and I sort of remember him cheating, but I think he was right. I think I was cheating more in ping pong than the games than he was.
Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, so I have a question. I ask everybody the same one. You ready?
Sure.
What is your advice? Anything you want, you can use. Well, it should be clean and all that, but advice you would give your younger self.
First of all, pay more attention in college and actually take it more seriously. It'll make you. That way you wouldn't have to relearn systemic physiology in optometry school. You would have already learned it in college and didn't have to say, oh my God, why didn't I pay more attention to that?
Yep.
So one of the other things I would think of is you just don't. I learned to say yes more to things.
Yeah.
Because you have more faith in yourself.
Right.
Because it's easy to not believe as much in yourself because you're always thinking, well, there's always somebody out there who's better looking than you, who's got more money than you, who's smarter than you. But it doesn't mean that you can't try to be the best that you personally can be.
That's
and
good.
sometimes you can achieve things, and sometimes it's just, it's just odd coincidences and who you meet, and somebody sees something in you that you have never seen in yourself.
Right.
So it's just I've been so blessed, and I tell you sometimes I say, I lost 4 years of my life in optometry school if I had just gone straight into medicine. But I would have never probably gone to osteopathic medical school.
Right.
I would have maybe never been an ophthalmologist.
Right.
If I hadn't done the 4 years of optometry. And I am telling you, the optometry made me such a much better ophthalmologist.
Sure.
There's no question about it. So I think that was my destiny, I guess.
It was.
To get to where I am today. To be here with you in
That's
beautiful
right.
Hawaii.
Look at this. And maybe your mom, you guys did hear her right. Maybe she did say, Leo, you're going to be the doctor. And what's your brother's name?
Yuri.
And Yuri is the attorney.
The attorney. Well, I know he doesn't like blood, so I think that made
It
more
worked
sense
out right.
that we did the way we did. But the only thing I regret is my mother never lived long enough to really see us have the accomplishments that we did.
Wow.
So that was the only thing I guess I regret. So.
Yeah. You are amazing. I mean, I think, all of your books. And
wow, good. Buy more.
Okay. Well, I have one I'm going to buy very soon, so it'll be available on Amazon, I'm certain, right?
Yeah, it's from CRC Press, which is a division of Taylor and Francis. So CRC Press was the new name of, remember Slack Incorporated?
I do. Yep.
So Taylor and Francis bought Slack.
Okay.
A year ago or whatever it was here, and I think they put it under their science umbrella of CRC Press.
Okay.
Yes, it's coming out at the end of March of this year. That's correct.
So make sure you send something to me to tell me how we can get everybody access to it if for some reason it isn't on Amazon. And that way we can have everybody have access to a book that it sounds like has never been written, nothing like it. And I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Retirement's going to be amazing.
I'm looking forward to it.
Waking up at 5 a.m., right?
Yeah, well, that's okay. My one of the things is I bought a Corvette, a Corvette car a number of years ago.
Yep.
And it's just been sitting in my garage, and I intend to finally put some miles on it.
I love that. Have fun, Doctor. I appreciate you so much. It has been such a joy. And one of the things I think David told you we have in common is our daughter-in-law is from Ukraine. So we're going to get together sometime so you can practice speaking.
Yeah, no, I never finished the little bit of the story. Yes, I've been to Ukraine multiple times.
Yeah.
And when we went there in 1992, we wanted to go there. My wife and I wanted to go there just as tourists and see family members and things. And it wound up, my aunt helped arrange for me to actually meet various ophthalmologists there, and I wound up giving lectures in Ukrainian and doing surgery in Ukrainian and doing surgery in Ukraine.
Gosh.
And I kept on, the last time we were there, I was at a glaucoma conference, and I was teaching them how to do trabectome.
Oh, my gosh.
If you remember trabectome.
Yep. And your Ukrainian was good enough that...
I
hope you taught them right.
Well, I must admit, I had to learn medical Ukrainian.
Wow.
It's not like we sat around in our family at the dinner table and spoke medical
Medicine.
stuff. I'm the first doctor in the family, so
Wow.
yeah. But my colloquial Ukrainian is perfectly fine. I could have a normal
Right.
conversation without any problems.
Well, I
so.
can't wait for that day. That'll be fun. And just what you've done is so inspirational to people. And I think that for me, even, I knew of the books, but I had never met you. And so this is really cool to be able to have a conversation together. Thank you so much for all you do, Leo.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me. Was I looking in the right place?
You are. Wherever you want. It's
Okay.
perfect.
Wonderful.
Nobody knows. We have 2 cameras, at least, that are typically
Yeah.
on. And so as you guys see us do all the cuts and see us zoom in, hopefully they get to see the whales in the background. I don't know. We'll see.
It's a little hazy.
But you are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for this invitation. I appreciate it. And thank you all.
We are grateful to have OcuSoft as a sponsor of our show. Since 1986, OcuSoft has served the community with a unique selection of proprietary brands, from dry eye care and protection with Retain line of artificial tears to eyelid hygiene with OcuSoft Lid Scrub eyelid cleansers essential for maintaining healthy eyes. Zoria Skincare from OcuSoft offers revolutionary products for people with sensitive skin and eyes. Thank you to OcuSoft for being the #1 doctor-recommended brand of eyelid cleansers and providing patients and doctors with products and supplies to continue to keep our eyes healthy.